Welcome back to the Legends of Young County and Part 4 of the death of Colonel A.T. Obenchain. The Confederate Army of 1862 had won several major battles and was threatening the outskirts of Washington, D.C. at one point. The source of these victories came from brilliant officers and leaders, but there was one factor that would eventually defeat the best-laid plans of men like Lee and Jackson. That factor was manpower. During the Civil War, 2.1 million men served in the Union Army, while at the same time, the Confederate States of America consisted of 1.1 million, leaving a 2-to-1 Union troop superiority in the field. Confederate forces holding the high ground with more experience and good officers began losing to the sheer number of men being thrown against them. When the shortage of men became apparent to Confederate leadership, a mandatory draft was instituted to fill the ranks. With a mandatory draft order in effect, at any given time, a Confederate soldier could ride up and order all able-bodied men aged 16 to 55 to gather their guns, ammunition, and horses and serve in the Army or be thrown in prison. This helped to add to the Confederate troop numbers, but these men were often possessing no training, no wartime experience, and low morale. When men aren't motivated to fight for a cause, discipline and ability soon suffer. Military life for these men were hard and discipline was strictly enforced. The Provost Marshal of the Army was responsible for enforcing military rules, but regimental commanders also had the authority to dole out punishments for minor offenses. For more serious offenses, a traveling provost would be summoned to the division's headquarters. Back in Belknap, trying to protect his sister's honor, Cureton refused to require family friend Sam Newton to report his visits to Cureton's family, particularly his sister, to Obenchain at Fort Belknap. Offenses such as insubordination, thievery, and cowardice were more serious, and the guilty party was usually subjected to embarrassing punishment such as carrying a log, standing on a barrel, or wearing a placard announcing his crime. Bucking and gagging was also a common punishment. The soldier's limbs were bound and he was gagged so he could not speak. During wartime, the crime of insubordination could also be punishable by death, and Obenchain was looking to make an example of Captain Jack Cureton. Obenchain announced that Cureton would be transferred to Camp Colorado and that a full court-martial inquiry would be conducted. Surrounded by Confederate soldiers under the command of Cureton's own lieutenant, William Peevler, the troops set out for Camp Colorado, approximately 180 miles south, near present-day Brownwood. For reasons unknown, Colonel Obenchain did not accompany his troops with Cureton to Camp Colorado. He sent the unit on its way, telling them that he has business to attend to at Camp Salmon near Breckenridge. Obenchain left the next day accompanied by Rex Stockson and Tude Watley as his escorts. Both Texas Rangers were under the direct supervision of Cureton before his arrest. What was Obenchain thinking? Was he trying to prove his bravery? Was he hoping to turn them to his side before they testified at the court-martial? At Camp Colorado, Cureton, a prisoner, awaits his fate as Obenchain unknowingly rides towards his.